Thank you so much for listening in and tuning in today on this on our Thursday wellness call. You are here because somebody invited you to listen in to some really amazing information at the forefront of health and really what we're calling Nutrigenomics. So we're going to be learning and diving into a little bit of the science behind some products that have changed all of our lives in such a huge way. And being that I was one of the hugest skeptics when it came to the information that you're about to hear, only because I come from a background of where I have been studying Lomi Lomi for almost 18 years now. That comes with an understanding of knowing my la'au, which means medicinal herbs that I was either growing in my yard, or I did tons of research and had them handy in my cupboard for supplements that I was taking. And but when I went to go and actually listen to the information that we'll dive into today, I was floored by the way that the mana comes together, the synergy of the herbs, of these 5 herbs that come together in our flagship product, and what a difference they make in our bodies in such a unique and beautiful way. So aloha everyone, I am Kamaile with Wellness with Mana, and I reside here in Kailua on Oahu, but our company and our people that we work with and have linked arms with are worldwide, and we are so excited to be sharing our love of health and love of others with you. And thank you for opening up your heart and your mind and your earballs today to listen to this information. So I'm a very visual person, so I'm going to start to share my screen, and we can kind of go into seeing some science visually today. So a little bit of my presentation, and I'm just going to minimize that there. And oh, I'm pro already. Remember back in the day when I first started, and it was like, oh my gosh, how do I do this? So Zoom is becoming a little bit of my friend, a little too comfortable, but more than Zoom being my friend, wellness has always been in my life. I have always been somebody that has lived by this quote, let's build wellness rather than treating disease. And maybe that's because I grew up learning about my cultural side of things, of how we heal and how we take things, and, you know, just taking things for granted of all of these things that our kupuna kind of fed us. Or it could have just been that I was just always hungry for truth, always hungry for knowledge, to really always better my circumstances, my situation, my environment. And certainly it morphed into health, especially as we get older, right? So as we live by this is basically what we're going to dive into today. And I was talking a little bit about it when we started this call, and I was saying how I had supplements that were of the highest quality that I had done tons of research on in my cupboards to actually use to help to aid my day-to-day aches and pains, my plantar fasciitis that I was dealing with, the hormonal changes as I was a new mom. You know, I have a 5-year-old at home now. I breastfed until he was about 3.5. So there was a lot of things going on within my body that I was looking to supplement and really gain a way to help my body and my mind and my emotions to truly get ahead of what I felt like I was drowning in so many different quote unquote ailments. And so when I came to understand that there's something called activating or turning on my body's ability to actually help with all of that, give my body the tools or turn on the tools that are already God-given and there, that's what perked my ears up. And I was like, okay, tell me a little bit more. So truly, I only went for the glass of wine and the girl talk, but I ended up coming out, and here I am almost 2 years later, and I'm still talking about it. So obviously it's a good one. So I have always, like I said, been interested in health and healing. I've been in Hawaiian healing for the last 18 plus years. But one of the rabbit holes that I have went down on my journey was epigenetics. So epigenetics basically is science that is caught up with, I feel like, our indigenous wisdom that we've always known by telling us that by the choices that we make, we actually have a chance. What I didn't know, though, is we have a chance to actually change almost 97% of our genetic code by the choices that we make today. So Michael Puna always told me that we're always looking to change ourselves so that we can change 7 generations back, but also 7 generations forward, right? And so I didn't quite understand that, but knowing that everything is energy, everything that we put in our bodies, everything that we surround ourselves with, all of the practices that we have, from pule to meditation to the foods to the sleep quality that we have to the relationships that we have, not only in our home, but also in our communities, all of those impact how our expression of health, our expression of healthy outcomes are. And so that's what was so fascinating to me. Now, when we look at this word biohacking at the top of the screen as well, I did not resonate with that word at all. That sounded so foreign to my quote unquote native ears and my intelligence, of which I pulled from. And it felt like it was born in some sort of, science lab or something else. But what I understood when I came to understand that word more intimately is that we are really, biohacking means that we're really just taking control of our genetic outcome, meaning we don't have to deal with, quote unquote, the breast cancer that mom and auntie and whatever had. We don't necessarily have to deal with the same way that diabetes has been a repetitive, ailment for a lot of people in Hawaii. There's so many things that we assume that is coming at us that is we're just born with, but we can make choices today that not only affect us, but also affect our 7 generations forward, and hopefully cut the tie from the 7 generations back. So we're actually healing all aspects of our generational family. That's huge. That's huge. So today we're going to dive a little bit into health span on this 30-minute call. It's very short. We're going to be looking at lifestyle. We're going to be looking at our environment. Like I said, I really like to point out, are we eating the same foods that are breathing and taking in the same air and water that we do on a regular basis? So are we eating locally enough? Are we eating of our aina, of our land? Because all of those feed us in many different ways that go beyond measure. So ultimately, all of these choices that we're making, again, we're hoping that we are affecting our genetics. We're changing the genetic disposition of our outcomes. So we're going to take a look. Like I said, I was very visual. We're going to take a look today at the aging process. So we're going to start with the first theory of aging, and it's been looked at for quite some time now, for over 40 years now, and it's really called oxidative stress. So when we look at illness and disease, and this is on pubmed.gov, I'll explain that in a few moments here. When we look at illness and disease, we usually say, oh, it's, inflammation. We want to reduce our inflammation. Well, guess what? At the root of inflammation most times is what's called oxidative stress, because we're talking about the core. We're talking about at a cellular level. So take a look at this apple here. This is what we're given with at birth. A nice, beautiful apple, a nice, beautiful cell. Over time, a mispaired molecule day after day starts to, unfortunately, try to hook up with another a molecule, but it actually ends up attacking our cells. Now, those mismatched molecules are actually called free radicals. Okay, you may have heard of this because the antioxidant craze came out quite some time ago to help to combat free radicals. Well, this is what's happening. Oxygen is our friend. We need it to live, but it also is one of the theories of aging. What we don't want to happen is this last slide right here, which is the apple deteriorating completely, or our cellular demise. When we see cellular demise, we're usually seeing big things happening, such as cells splitting off, cancerous, type ailments, large things, or we start to see the demise of our mindset and our cognitive functions happening because we start to see it actually, dying off. Those are all things that we want to actually prevent if we can happen to make the right choices today to help to prolong this normal healthy cell in our bodies. So when you look at it, when you start to read something, if you're not as visual and you like to have, evidence, this is the definition of oxidative stress. It's an imbalance between the production of free radicals due to the numerous daily exposures or assaults, I like to say, and the inability of our bodies to actually neutralize or detoxify those harmful effects. Did you know that we are being bombarded by 6 sextillion amount of free radicals daily? That is huge. So we need tools to actually help to combat that. And that's what we're going to go into today. So when we look at tools that we're going to be diving into, we are going to be talking about, the NRF2. We're going to be talking about activating. So if you can look at this little yellow representation of this circle here as the herbs coming together, what our NRF2 pathway does is it actually, when we activate it, right, we are actually talking to the cell via a cell signaling pathway. So that is different. It's no different than what we do nutritionally, okay? However, when we can go in and actually speed up that process, what happens is by using, let's show you here, 5 indigenous herbs that have been used for centuries long to actually come together, but come together in a unique way, because what happens is when it's synergistically blended in this microdose patented formula, it actually is 1,800 times more effective than what they are known to do individually to help to reduce oxidative stress. This was the breakthrough that was huge, 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 that Dr. McCord and his team of doctors actually came up with, and they released it back in 2005. They said, okay, we want to bring this to the world. We published some studies to show that these herbs can actually reduce our oxidative stress by 40% within 30 days. That is huge. Because we now have a tool to actually combat all of those free radicals that are helping to damage and to age us more rapidly. And unfortunately, as our system of things, get a little bit more convoluted with, cell phone towers and, constantly at our computers and on our phones, we're eating differently. We're not eating as our kupunas once did or our elders once did. All of these things are bombarding us even more so on a daily basis, and we're seeing a lot more illness and diseases a lot younger in our generations as they're growing up. So we're doing 5 synergistically blended herbs to activate our immune systems, to actually boost our body's ability to fight off those free radicals. So like I said, I mentioned a little bit earlier, I always say that you can do this via foods. We can activate our NRF2 pathways. And I talk about pathways like almost as if you're looking at a grid where you're gonna, maybe somebody in the electrical HECO department, Hawaiian Electric, they're gonna go in and try and map out the way to the source of a certain energy source. Same thing, it goes in kind of in our bodies when our cellular structure is actually designed to do specific things and carry out specific functions, right? When we can activate that pathway to talk to that cell in the way that it was designed to do before we started aging at the age of 20, we are golden. So again, we can do this by consuming proteins, amino acids, antioxidants, obviously is what we're talking about today, cruciferous foods, sulfur-rich foods. But guess what, guys? It's not enough antioxidants. So we can't consume enough nutrients per day to actually combat what we were talking about earlier, that assault that's happening. 89 glasses of red wine. I always get a chuckle out of that one. It'll never stop because it sounds good in the moment, but it's sure going to hurt probably for weeks after. 375 fresh oranges, 11 pounds of blueberries, 15 pounds of dark chocolate. That might go nice with the wine for a moment, but again, it's going to make us probably sick to our stomachs. So what is happening is an antiquated, if you will, way of actually combating it, because there's so much coming at us, remember, is that it's a 1-to-1 ratio. We're actually, one blueberry, if you will, if you kind of look at it that way, is equals to 1 antioxidant. We're actually eradicating 1 free radical. With sextillion, it's like a blazing fire of inflammation going on within our bodies, causing havoc, right? So it's like taking a Dixie cup of water and pouring it on it with the nutrients or supplements that we're taking. And that's why this is such an important share. And that's why there's so many things that are happening on the health front, because Nutrigenomics has really kind of put this blend together and given us the tool that we needed. So we're doing this biohacking, taking control, remember, of our bodies through the choices that we make through Nutrigenomics. So Nutrigenomics is the study of the effects of nutrients, like we talked about, and natural compounds affecting our genetic expression. That's our end goal. And how we're doing this and who we're doing this with is LifeVantage. That's our company that we've locked arms with, whoever invited you to this information. And we are so proud to say that this is a company that we locked arms with, because they have been at the forefront of nutrigenomics for literally the last 11 years. Like I said, Dr. McCord and his team came out with this revolutionary breakthrough that we'll learn about in a second. They actually did a primetime ABC primetime report to try and debunk Dr. McCord and his team of doctors back in 2005. So if you haven't seen that video, please watch it. It's short, it's less than 10 minutes, and it's super informational because it interviews him to show what's really going on in our cells. And we've taken that and really progressed forward to giving us what we now know as the 3 theories of aging. So the first one we talked about was oxidative stress. We're going to go real quickly into 2 others here, and all together, this is our LifeVantage Pro Tandem Tri-Synergizer. So all together, these work synergistically, even in greater ratios and in even more immense results than just taken individually. So let's dive into that real quickly here. So just a real, excuse me, quick synapse of what we've really kind of gone over is this Pro Tandem NRF2 Synergizer. Again, it lowers our oxidative stress by 40% within 30 days. Remember, that's helping to take us back to that green apple. It increases our antioxidants, which at the top is superoxide dismutase. It increases our catalase and increases our glutathione. Guys, look up glutathione and the benefits of that and what it's related to on the illness side. When we have low glutathione, when we're able to actually turn on that switch within our bodies to tell our bodies to make our own antioxidants, like this NRF2 product does, we are able to increase our glutathione, our master antioxidant, by over 300%. And again, that is something that is been published on PubMed.gov. So, and then yep, that was the only thing that I wanted to say there. Sorry, somebody was calling, so it threw me off. Here's another little just rundown. It helps to both upregulate and downregulate our survival genes. So it's turning on our body's ability each and every day that we're taking this, because it's all natural and it goes into our bodies and it's able to really work with our bodies just as we were to consume nutrients. Now, what's interesting about this is they try to actually mimic this in a pharmaceutical way, But what happened is that the pharmaceutical didn't work with our bodies in the same way that this natural product did. It actually eradicated all of the free radicals. It just kept upregulating the ability to eradicate the free radicals because it was producing so much antioxidants. But we actually need some antioxidants to heal. So there's a balance. So there's a homeostasis that's going on within our body. It helps to repair our cells, like we were talking about. All of these beautiful things that you can read here. Now, oxidative stress is linked to over 250 illnesses and diseases. Take a look here at what, one of these is affecting one or more or all of your family members right here, right now. It is crazy what we're having to deal with on a regular basis. And again, way too soon in life. PubMed.gov, PubMed.gov, that's the National Institute of Health's library. Now, you can type in oxidative stress and ADHD, oxidative stress and sleep apnea, oxidative stress and functional or celiac disease. You'll find that it is the root cause, again, by doctors studying all of this and publishing their findings up on PubMed. So when we can reduce that oxidative stress, you can put the correlation together. These are some of the institutes that have done independent studies, funded studies on NRF2 activation. And in fact, Washington State University came out with this is a quote taken from one of the studies that was published, is that NRF2 activation is potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. So we have something on our hands that is amazing and great and nothing I had heard about before. So that's why I'm so excited about this. Okay. So we talked about NRF2. Let's talk about NRF1 real quick. Again, a cell signaling pathways that we're activating. This one is called NRF1. NRF1 talks to basically and supports our mitochondria. Our mitochondria, and I like to go back to this, actually produce 95% of our cells' energy, of our body's energy. We're actually made up about 10% of our body weight is mitochondria. That's how important it is in our body. And again, you can look up mitochondrial dysfunction and see some of the symptoms related to it. So when we go back and with these all natural ingredients, synergized, again, the synergistic blend comes together and actually boosts that up, we're seeing increased and improved sleeping patterns, meaning that's better cellular repair at night because we're not working so hard to actually repair all of the damage that's gone on during the day. Cognitive, brain health, circulatory, cardiovascular systems, all of these are enhanced benefits of actually taking care of our mitochondria, the powerhouse of our cell. And the last pathway that we're going to be talking about is our NAD. This one is really kind of new in the terms of the health word and the health buzz, but it is amazing. This actually activates a pathway that speaks to our longevity genes, if you will. So it actually was studied by a doctor and a researcher that is unrelated to our business, to LifeVantage. However, his 25 year plus studies actually went and dove into trying to understand why we age and how we age. And he started studying caloric restriction. So when you think of caloric restriction, some of us think of intermittent fasting. No, we're talking 500 to 800 calories per day. Some of us, that's only one meal. Some of us, that's only one snack. And that's for prolonged periods of time. It's actually a miserable existence. But what happened was when they studied this in humans, they found out that NAD, this molecule in our cells, which was doing its own little job beforehand, started to increase. And what they figured out was it not only started to increase, it started to actually feed what is known as our survival genes, or our sirtuin family of proteins, okay? So this protein family, actually, Dr. Sinclair describes it as this, can go into the cells, how's this? pull apart the DNA, fix what's defunct, put it all back together, and then vacuum up the outside, if you will, of the cells so that all of the neuroconnectors that were misfiring are, excuse me, all cleaned up, and it sends it on its merry way so that it's actually functioning as, again, as that healthy apple that we saw earlier. It is absolutely amazing what this can do. Dr. David Sinclair hopes to live to the age of 120 in the body and mind of a 56-year-old. So he has already proven through blood and test results, extensive test results, that he has actually turned back his clock, hands of time for himself by at least 10 years. He hopes to just keep resetting that. So this is huge. Our Protandim all natural ingredient is the only one on the market that I know of that increases our NAD production to feed those sirtuins by 100% within 24 hours. Most other products out there that are trying to compete with us say that it takes 4 to 6 weeks, you know, sometimes even longer. So this is huge, this breakthrough, and we hope to get our studies up and published on PubMed by the end of the year is what I hear. So how do you get started? Well, actually, let's look at this. This is basically the synopsis. We're just aiding our bodies. We're taking a look at antioxidants. We're boosting those. We're boosting our immune system to fight against illness and disease, and we're detoxifying with that NAD by removing the heavy metals and toxins within our body and really cleaning up those cells so that they can function better, but also help us to live healthier, longer lives. So I love this quote. We are no longer supplementing our deficiencies, gang. We are no longer chasing our tails. We're literally activating our pathways to control the aging and healing process. So who doesn't want to age a little more gracefully? Who doesn't want to age with better health and not so many aches and pains? Definitely me. Because at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. We come into this world with just our soul and our happiness and our joy, and we leave with only that. So we want to live it with the memories, with our loved ones in health, and just treasuring each moment. This again is who we are. This is how you can get started as far as biohacking goes. This is our very modest but very powerful line of products. We talked about the anti-aging trifecta. We take our microbiome very seriously, as that is known as our second brain. So we have both the probiotics and the prebiotics. Prebiotics kind of lay down the soil, if you will, for the probiotics, the healthy bacteria to really create our microbiome. We definitely are amazing omegas that take care of anything squishy. I like to say our brain, our eyes, our organs. We take that whole approach of actually making our microbiome healthy and our tummies healthy into our weight management system. Nootropics, oh my gosh, that's a whole nother conversation. It is amazing. It's brain health, it's smart energy. It is protecting our minds and our that brain fog that we get, especially around this hour. And then, of course, our skin being our largest organ, we want to make sure that we're not putting in the toxins that are just riddled in our daily products that we find on the over-the-counter shelves. So hair care, skin care, this is huge in the way that we not only feel on the inside, but we're looking on the outside. And then, of course, anything, honestly, that breathes oxygen is going to do better with reducing their oxidative stress. So we've created that same science into our pet tandem. Okay, one moment. And so canine, but it goes beyond that. We help horses, we help kitty cats, we help rabbits, anything again that breathes. So it's amazing. So how do we get started? We get started by actually this tri-synergizer that we talked about today is about $4.17 per day. Please look at how you can budget that in, because it's so well worth the lifetime of memories that you'll have in health. It's $127.99 a month when you subscribe. Most of the doctors, we have over 2,000 medical professionals on our LifeVantage team, they recommend to at least do 1 month for every decade that you've been alive. I at least recommend 90 days to just give it a chance to see what your body's going to naturally do with a new regimen. It's huge though. Another way that I like to point out that we can bundle and save, if you're not only thinking for the health of yourself, but health of your family, or you just want to invest in the whole biohacking system, we have starter kits that help you to get started and save up to 30%. So this is a great way to actually invest your money. 60% of our customers actually want to share it with their family and friends. So we actually even give you a starter kit so that you can share samples with your loved ones. Or if you want to take this even further, our company is constantly growing and expanding. Like I said, I think we're in over 24 countries right now. We're growing because this is worldwide. This is, you know, is spreading like wildfire. So please join our company. If you're so inclined to, you can apply to be a team member and share. And really, you don't have to know anything. You just have to get them to this call, and I can be your science geek for you. So, oh my gosh, we got poi. Pa'iai. I'm going to totally jam on that. But super stoked. How's this? Oh my gosh. Anyway, I hope that that was a wealth of information, everyone, and that you guys are finding that, you know, that this helps, or it brings a little bit more light to what's going on the cellular health level. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I always say, definitely eat healthy. You know, drinking beer and eating Cheetos on the couch is not anything is probably not going to help your healthy outcome, but this is going to be a tool that will certainly boost it for sure. So anyway, oh, thank you, Shannon. Does anybody have any questions? Because I'm down to answer, and if not, I'm happy to try and you know, find the answer for you. So, oh, thank you, Lonnie. Anyone? Shannon, I don't know if you're open to sharing some good news, but I can stop the recording right now. Aloha, everyone, and